Set made a video about religion, or rather the lack of religion in books. And this got me thinking. I tried to think of the books I had read where religion played a key role. And the very first one I thought of was the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. They have both an adult series and a children's series, and it is set around the biblical rapture and apocalypse. I also thought of Anna Dressed in Blood by Kinder Blake. This is a story about voodoo and voodoo taking a central role in the problems of the characters. I also remembered the many discussions I had back in my senior year of high school about the life of Pi. Yep. And in the book I read, and in one of the books I read last year, called Shiva's Fire, which was a middle grade book, it laced with various elements of Hinduism, as it was set in India. I am reading An Abundance of Catherines, and there is a part, about 2 paragraphs long or so I think, where Colin and Hassan are talking about God. And while you probably already know this, An Abundance of Catherines was written by John Green. He mentioned that he believes in God, which got me thinking about something. Maybe it isn't just the fear of backlash that causes authors to not write about religion. It is the fact that authors don't believe. One of my favorite novels is a fantasy novel called Resenting the Hero by Maura J. Moore, and on her blog, her second sentence is an exclamation about the fact that she is a proud atheist. On the other hand, you have something like A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin, who claims to be a lapsed Catholic, though others would describe him as agnostic or atheist, and he finds religion and spirituality to be interesting, according to his Wikipedia page. And if you look at his work, you have the old gods and the 7 gods and the drowned gods and the Lord of Light and whatever gods I haven't gotten to yet or forgotten about. Other fantasy novels that I've read this month, you have Aeon by Alison Goodman, or Aeon, and it is about, there's a beautiful weaving of various Eastern religions into the story to create its own religion. I have a younger YA novel that I read this month as well, Sora's Quest by T.L. Schruffler, and through the entire story, Sora is praying to her wind goddess after she gets kidnapped. And if you, for a minute, allow the door of mythology to be open and you look at Rick Riordan's works, you have the struggle between religion and people, with Percy constantly balking at the Greek gods and the frustration the Cain siblings feel towards the Egyptian gods. Which brings me to one of my points, that religion is more safely explored through fantasy works, whether adult or YA, than it is, and mythology as well, in addition to fantasy, than it is through contemporary fiction, because you can safely explore the aspects of religion without needing to fear the backlash from an opposing religious viewpoint, because no one's gonna really worry that Poseidon is gonna create an earthquake here in California. We just kind of roll with them and then go on, pick up the couple lawn chairs that fell over. And the final reason I have, in addition to the possibility of the author's, well, atheism, is the idea that as authors, they are adults writing YA novels. Thought I was going to make was the idea that authors are old, they know what they believe, and even if they are religious, they don't have the need to explore it the way that you do when you are in fact young adults. I know I was raised as a non-denominational Christian, and while I still declare myself to be Christian, I hold a lot of beliefs that aren't in line with Christian doctrine. And I feel like as an adult, you tend to forget the spiritual quest that you probably go on as a child or a young adult, and that carries over into what you write. So in addition to the possible lack of religion that authors have, as well as the author's more life experience as opposed to the reader. I feel like all of these are things that contribute to the lack of religion in books, particularly of the YA genre, the YA contemporary genre, because, like I said, I can probably find 10 or so fantasy novels where they have in fact made up a religion or rely on some mythology to create a world of spirituality.